Welcome to Acre, Acco, Accra, whatever you will call it, it's the same place. Israel is important because of the location. We are a bridge between Africa, Asia, and Europe. Then if you wanted to conquer the world, you had to start from Israel, and then the Middle East of today, and then the rest of the ancient world. That's why Napoleon tried to conquer Acco. He didn't succeed. That's why the Crusaders, when they came to here in the 12th and the 13th century, they knew that without Jerusalem and the Holy Land and Israel, they cannot control the world. Then when they came to Israel, first they went to Jerusalem because it's more important than Acco. And then 5 years later, they conquer Acco because Acco, it's the connection, marine connection between Europe and Israel. Then in that case, they built a castle right here, and we are in the Hospitalary castle, and we will talk about who were the Hospitalary later on. But I want to show you something. Until the 80s, you couldn't see a lot of it. What you saw and what I saw as a child when my father brought me to here is the upper part of the castle, and a little bit from the lower part, from the Crusader part. Why the Arab part was built on top of it and not instead of it? When El Jazar actually asked himself, what should I do? Should I destroy the remains of the Crusader part, or should I cover it with sand, a lot of sand, and then I build my building above it? He chose to do the second part, the second one, because it's cheaper and faster. Then in that case, he covered all the Crusader city that we are going to visit today, and he built his palace, his fortress above it. Look at the small stones. Can you see it? All right, then it's a little bit difficult now, but if we come here, you can see the Crusader stones. Those lower stones. Can you see it there? You see the difference between big stones built by the Crusaders and the small stones built by the Muslims who came later on. I'm talking about 18th century, and here I'm talking about 12th and 13th century. Yeah, huge gap. But to show you that huge gap, I want you to look at those pictures. We will start from the upper one. Soon, not in that video, in the next video, you will see that part, or you will have to imagine that that used to be a prison by the Ottomans, the Turks of today, and by the British who came to here. The prisoners used to walk in the yard, but we wanted to see what is beneath it. Then we destroyed that yard. Today you can visit it, it's a beautiful museum, but that yard is gone. Then we excavated. What we did is we took all the sand that the Muslim government actually put inside to cover everything, and then we reach to that area. This is the ground of the yard of the Hospitalary Crusader Fortress. And if you go to that model, let's move to that model. What I want you to see is that yard. When the Hospital came to Israel, actually not only them, every Crusader, everyone who conquered Israel. And remember, it's a bridge, then it will be difficult to find someone who didn't try to conquer Israel. Then what he built is a fortress. It's called castrum. 4 walls, lots of rooms in the walls, and the yard is in the middle. And I don't know if you can see here, that part, there's always must be a place for water. Without water, you cannot succeed. Then they build that fortress for themselves, but this is only a small part of Acre. A really tiny part of Acre. There's so many other things to see. Then what we're gonna do next in our next videos, we're gonna visit some of those amazing rooms. Yeah. Just for the one who's controlling the camera, remember that I told you that to look for a mask? We saw a mask outside? Yes. then that mosque is above it. Here is the church. We're gonna visit the church soon, but I want you to understand that the mosque is above it. Then it's like layers and layers. When the Muslims build it, if it was a kind of a yard, they build a yard above it. Above the houses, they build houses. About churches, they build mosques. We're talking about Muslims. Then in that case, are you ready to continue with me? Please subscribe my channel and watch the other videos of ACAR. But I have almost 19,000 videos about Israel. Then are you ready to visit me in my channel? Then let's go to see the other. See you in the